Okay, so let's start our new year mediumship. Mediumship literature group. We are reading the Gospel according with Spiritism, and today we are going to start where we finished last class, which is chapter 20. So we finished chapter 19, our previous group, and today we are going to start on chapter 20 of the Gospel according with Spiritism by Allan Kardec. So we are going to do our initial prayer.
It's a workers of the last hour, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
That's the title of the chapter 20, the workers of the last hour. Perfect. So let's do our initial prayer and we can start. Dear God, the spirits of the light, the spiritual guides, thank you for this opportunity to be here together, learning from you the wisdoms contained in this book, the Gospel according with Spiritism, which is interpretation from spirits about the gospel from Jesus, the teachings of Jesus. And thank you very much for the opportunity to be growing and learning deeper what we are supposed to know in order to grow spiritually and to help evolve our planet as well. Please help us to understand the things we need to learn, and also the people that are following us afterwards through the videos. Thank you very much. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So who would like to start reading? Hi, Elizabeth. Welcome.
Hi, Sandra. How are you?
Hi,
Elizabeth. I can go first. I've got something cooking on the stove here, so
okay, very good.
Better if I go first.
Thank you, Darcy.
Okay. Chapter 20, Workers of the Last Hour. Instructions from the spirits, the last shall be first. The mission of the spiritists, the workers of the Lord. 1. For kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is a householder which went out early in the morning to hire laborers in his vineyard. And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them to his vineyard. And then he went out about the third hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace and said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way again. He went out about the 6th and 9th hour and did likewise. At about the 11th hour, he went out and found others standing idle and said unto them, Why stand ye here all the day idle? They say unto him, Because no man hath hired us. He saith unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatever is right, that shall ye receive. So when evening was come, the Lord of the vineyard saith unto his steward, Call the laborers and give them their hire, beginning from the last unto the first. And when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny. But when they first came, they supposed that they should have received more, and they likewise received every man a penny. And I don't know if I'm missing something. And when they had received it, they murmured against the good man of the house, saying, These last have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden and heat of the day. But he answered one of them and said, Friend, I do thee no wrong. Didst not thou agree with me for a penny? Take that thine is, and go thy way. I will give unto this last, even as unto thee. Is it not unlawful for me to do what I will with mine own? Is thine eye evil because I am good? So the last shall be first, and the first last, for many be called, but few chosen. Matthew 20:1-16. See also the parable of the wedding feast, chapter 18, item number 1. Instructions from the spirits. Thy last the last shall be the first. Number 2, the worker of the last hour has a right to his wages. Nevertheless, it is important that his lateness not be due to either laziness or reluctance, but to the fact that although willing to work, he has been patiently waiting for someone to employ him. He has a right to his wages because, being hardworking, he has waited anxiously since dawn for someone who would finally offer work. It was only that he lacked opportunity. However, if he had refused to work at any time during the day, or if he had said, wait a while, rest is very agreeable to me, when the last hour sounds, then I will think about the day's wages. What necessity have I to be bothered by an employer I have no regard for and don't even know? The later, the better. Then this person, my friends, would not have received the wages of work, but of laziness. What would you say then of someone who, instead of remaining inactive, utilized those hours destined for the day's labor to practice culpable acts, who blasphemed against God and spilt the blood of his brothers, launched perturbation against families, ruined those who trusted in him by abusing their innocence, who in short satiated himself with all the ignominies of human nature? What would become of him? Is it enough for him to say at the last hour, Master, I use my time badly. Take me on till the end of the day, so I will do some work, although it will be very little of what was my share, and give me the wages of a good worker? No, no, the Lord will say to him, I have no work for you at present. You squandered away your time, you forgot what you have learned, and you can no longer work in my vineyard. Consequently, you must recommence your learning, and when you are better disposed, come again to me, and I will throw open my vast fields to you, where you may work at any time. Good Spiritists, my dearly beloved, you are all workers of the last hour. The one who says, I began work at dawn and will only finish at nightfall is very conceited. All of you came when you were called, some a little earlier, some a little later, to this incarnation whose shackles you now carry. For how many centuries has the Lord called you to his vineyard without you wishing to enter it? Here is the moment to pocket your wages, so put to good use the time that is left, and never forget that your existence, however long it may appear to be, is nothing but a fleeting moment in the immensity of time which forms eternity. Constantine, A Protecting Spirit, Bordeaux, 1863. Jesus liked the simplicity of symbols and his virile language. In his virile language, the workers who arrived of the first hour were the prophets. Moses and all the initiates who have marked the steps of progress which continued to be signposted throughout the ages by the apostles, the martyrs, the founders of the church, the wise men, the philosophers, and finally by the Spiritists. Those who are the last to come were announced and prophesied from the dawn of the advent of the Messiah, and they will receive the same recompense, or should I say, a larger recompense. Being the last to arrive, the Spiritists take advantage of all of the intellectual laborers of their predecessors, because man must inherit from man, and because human work and the subsequent results are collective. God blesses solidarity. Moreover, many who relive today or who will relive tomorrow are terminating work begun previously. More than one patriarch, more than one prophet, more than one disciple of Christ is to be found amongst these. Nevertheless, more enlightened, more advanced, working now at the base, but at the summit of the edifice. These then will receive wages according to the value of the undertaking. The beautiful doctrine of reincarnation is perpetual and needs spiritual affiliation. A spirit, when called upon to give an account of an earthly mandate, sees for itself the continuity of an interrupted task, which is always resumed. It sees, it feels, it intuitively grasps the thoughts of those who have preceded. It begins a lesson anew, matured by experience to advance yet further. And all of them, the workers of the first and last hours, with their eyes fully open to the profound justice of God, murmur no more. They simply adore. This is one of the true meanings of the parable, which holds, as do all those utilized by Jesus when speaking to the people. The rudiments of the future, and also in all forms and from all aspects, the revelation of the magnificent unity which harmonizes all things in the universe, and the solidarity which joins all present beings to the past and to their future. Henry Heine, Paris, 1863. The missions of the spirits, number 4. Do you not already hear the noise of the tempest which will sweep away the old world and destroy all the iniquities of this planet? And praise the Lord, all those who have put their faith in his sovereign justice and who, as new apostles of the belief revealed by the superior prophetical voices, go forth to preach the new doctrine of reincarnation and the elevation of spirits according to whether they have fulfilled their missions and supported their terrestrial trials well or badly. Do not be afraid. The tongues of fire are above your heads. O true adepts of Spiritism, you are God's chosen ones. Go forth and preach the divine word. The time has come when you should sacrifice your habits, your work, and your futile occupations of its dissemination. Go forth and preach. The elevated spirits are with you. You will most certainly speak to those who do not wish to hear the voice of God, because this voice calls them unceasingly to abnegation. You will preach disinterestedness to those who are avaricious, abstinence to the dissolute, gentleness to the domestic tyrants and despots. Lost words I know, but it does not matter. It is necessary that you irrigate the land to be sown with the sweat of your labor, seeing that it will not come to fruit nor produce except under the repeated blows of the evangelical hoe and plow. Go forth and preach. To all of you men and women of good faith who are conscious of your inferiority before the many worlds scattered in infinite space, launch yourselves into the crusade against injustice and inequity. Go forth and ostracize the worship of the golden calf, which spreads more and more each day. Go forth, God guides you. Simple and ignorant humanity, your tongues will be freed, and you will speak as no orator speaks. Go forth then and preach, for those of the population who are heedful will happily take in your words of consolation, fraternity, hope, and peace. What matters the ambushes rigged against you along the pathway? Only wolves fall into wolf traps, since the shepherd will know how to defend his sheep from the sacrificial butchers. Go forth from those who great before God are more blessed than St. Thomas, believe without demanding to see and accept the fact of mediumship, even when they have not managed to obtain it for themselves. Go then, for the Spirit of God is guiding you. March forward, magnificent phalanx of faith. Before you, the great battalions of unbelievers will dissipate, as does the morning dew at the first rays of the sun. Jesus said that faith is a virtue which moves mountains. However, heavier than the greatest mountain are the impurities and all the vices which are derived from them, which lie deposited in the hearts of men. So then, depart full of courage to remove this mountain of iniquities, which future generations should only know as legend, in the same way that you know only very imperfectly of the times which preceded against pagan civilization. Moral and philosophical upheavals will be produced at all points of the globe. The hour approaches when the divine light will spread itself over both worlds. I have to go check my stuff.
Okay, who would like to continue? Everybody's following. We are on chapters 20. Elizabeth, would you like to continue?
Sure, I can continue.
Thank you.
The workers of the Lord. Number 5. The time approaches when those things which have been announced for the transformation of humanity will be accomplished. All those who have worked in the field of the Lord with disinterestedness and no other motive than charity will be blessed. Their working days will be paid 100 times more than was expected. Blessed are those who have said to their fellow men, let us work together and unite our efforts so that when the Lord arrives, he will find his work finished. Seeing that the Lord will say to them, come unto me, you have been good servants, you who knew how to silence your rivalries and discords so that no harm should come to the work. But woe to those who, as a result of their dissensions, have held back the time of the harvest, because the tempest will come, they will be taken away in the turbulence. They will cry out, mercy, mercy. However, the Lord will say to them, how can you implore mercy when you had none for your fellow men and refused to offer them a helping hand, trampling on the weak instead of upholding them? How can you beseech mercy when you sought your recompense in earthly pleasures and the satisfaction of your pride? You have already received your recompense just as you wished. There is nothing more to ask for. The celestial rewards are for those who have not looked for earthly compensations. At this very moment, God is preparing a census of his faithful servants and has already taken note of those whose devotion is only apparent, so that they may not usurp the wages of the courageous servants, because those who do not draw back from the task are the ones to whom he entrusted the most difficult positions in the great work of regeneration by means of Spiritism. These words will be fulfilled. The first shall be the last, and the last shall be the first in the kingdom of heaven. The Spirit of Truth, Paris, 1862.
Wonderful. Hello, Susan, welcome. So everybody understood? You guys have questions or comments about this chapter? It was a short chapter, but very important. What you guys understood?
Can you explain to us
Okay,
what it means, please?
sure. So it talks about the parable of Jesus, about the man who had a vineyard and had servants, and so it was just an illustration to say that doesn't matter where we start in terms of contributing to the progress of humanity. Doesn't matter where we start and developing ourselves and joining the overall process of spiritual evolution. We are all part of a whole. So when they say about the saints of the last hours, and so they are referring to the Spiritists, and the Mormons call themselves the saints of the last hour as well. And so it doesn't matter, it's not about the religion itself, which ones are chosen, which ones are not, which ones, because sometimes people say, oh, I came from a family of religious people, we have a religious tradition from many generations, my great-great-grandfather was a bishop, of a father, or a deacon or something, a pastor, and therefore I am more evolved spiritually because this whole family tradition. I was born going to churches or synagogue or whatever, and therefore I am more evolved spiritually than those who don't go to church or don't belong to my religion or something, and therefore are going to have more privilege in heaven. So, and this chapter is saying that this makes no sense, and the recompense of that we are going to receive by evolving and developing ourselves spiritually has nothing to do with religion or when we started, which kind of point we came from, if we lived in the time of Jesus or if we are living now. It doesn't matter. First of all, we are a part of a process that is bigger than us, right? The evolution of humanity is not just about us, our individual evolution, our individual growth, even though we all need to focus on our personal development. But the evolution of our collective group species is happens through many incarnations and many eras, right? So the work of whoever came before helps us to be where we are now. So before, people were like, when we were in a caveman, like as a caveman's, we like, people didn't know any better. They didn't know, they killed each other. They, you know, they didn't have, it was like pretty much savages like other animals. They killed each other to survive, and, you know, and was pretty much survival kind of mode. There's not much, you know, moral development. They lived to survive and to preserve the species and to reproduce, and there's no really rules, no really social rules. So as we started to evolve little by little, we developed laws and rules. So we cannot do this kind of stuff. We cannot, you know, trespass something that belongs to our neighbor. We cannot steal their wives or husbands, or we cannot kill people. We cannot kill each other. We cannot do whatever we want with our body. Otherwise, we are going to like hurt ourselves. So we started to evolve and to understand ourselves and to respect our boundaries and to evolve our way of relating to the world. And you know, but little by little, we all those learnings and knowledge was passed from one generation to another, from one incarnation to another. And the accumulation of all those learnings and evolvement came to determine where we are right now. And we are still in a process of evolving. Of course, we are really far from perfection. We are somehow, you know, in the middle of our process in terms of starting from scratch, like being really savages to being angels. We are like really more towards the beginning of the process than towards the end, because we, in our world, in our planet, still have a lot of violence, still have a lot of corruption, still have a lot of cravings to do bad stuff. And we are, you know, we face diseases and pain and suffering. So this is a reflection of our stage of evolution. So in this chapter specifically, it's saying, it's calling our attention to the fact that this process is collective, and what we do, the contributions we do, is important. We are going to respond to what we have done in our lives, in every incarnation. We are responsible for ourselves and to the decisions we make, the choices we make, the amount of effort we put in our spiritual growth, and the effort we put in helping others around us. But we are not, you know, we need depend on each other in terms of evolving our planet and evolving our species as humanity. So whatever our previous generations have done, the other, like many incarnations of other human beings have done, we are benefiting from it, and other future generations and future eras after us are going to benefit from whatever we can contribute to this process of evolution. So that's why there's no merit per se. Nobody's better than anyone in this process of contributing to the growth and evolvement of humanity. We are all in the same boat, and that's what we need to learn. This is part of our spiritual evolution, to have this bigger view of our reality as beings that live in the universe. And this is not a reality that doesn't apply only for our planet. It is a universal law. When we study physics and when we study biology, we understand that, like we have learned about the ecosystem, for example, right? When one species somehow grows too much, or there's or go extinct, the whole ecosystem suffers. So something that one little part of the ecosystem does affects everybody else. And that's our reality as humanity in terms of spirituality as well. We are all part of a whole. And when we understand that we depend on each other and therefore, when we this whole thing about helping each other and being, spreading charity and spreading love and all this thing is because of that. Because if we don't have charity, and if we don't help each other, if we don't help others around us, we are going to harm ourselves, because we depend on them. Even if we don't depend directly, indirectly we always depend, because the energy is the same. We share the same energy in the planet. So helping others around us is a matter of higher consciousness that reflects also a state of spiritual evolution, that we are depending on each other, and we are part of a whole. And that's how the enlightened spirits live as well. They do that all the time. They live based on this principle, and that's why they love us unconditionally. That's why they help us to evolve. That's why it's based on the same law, because they know that they are part of this big picture of the that's we call universe. And their job is to help others the same way that's our job also to help others in the way we can, right? We are much more limited than the ones that's more evolved than us, but there's also people that's less evolved than us, and we can help them as well. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Any questions or comments about that?
I have a question I kind of missed chapter 19. Is there any summary of 19 that you could give? I missed
Okay, let's see.
Human and divine, the instructions from the spirit. It was I think it's a short.
Faith moves mountains.
Yeah, faith moves mountains, the power of faith.
Yes, we have recorded, and I'm posting, and I can share on the group.
Oh, okay, thank
If you
you.
like, because then we can move on today on the chapter 21.
Sure.
And
Yeah, I don't want to hold us back here.
okay, but thank you very much for asking. I'm definitely going to share with whoever would like to follow. That's why I'm recording to everybody to have access to it.
Oh, great. Okay.
Okay, so very good. So who would like to start reading chapter 21? There will be false Christs and false prophets. Would you like to read, Susan?
I'm trying to find it on my phone, so I'm.
Oh, okay. It's chapter 21.
Yeah, it's just taken me. I'm on 16. I'm trying to keep scrolling.
Yeah, you need to keep. Oh, you still have your cough, right? I don't want to stress your.
Crazy, it just doesn't go away.
No, it takes forever. Yes. So.
I can read if
Okay. Thank you, Elizabeth.
coughing hurt. So there will be false Christs and false prophets. A tree is known by its fruits, the mission of the prophets, the prodigies of the false prophets. Do not believe all the spirits, instructions from the spirits, the false prophet, the character of the true prophet, the false prophets from the spirit world, Jeremiah and the false prophets. A tree is known by its fruits. 1. For a good tree bringeth not forth corrupt fruit, neither doth a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. For every tree is known by his own fruit. For of thorns men do not gather figs, nor of a bramble bush gather they grapes. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is good, and an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart brings forth that which is evil. For of the abundance of the heart his mouth speaketh. Luke 6:43 through 45. Number 2, beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are raving wolves. You shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire, wherefore by their fruits you shall know them. Matthew 7:15 through 20. Number 3, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. Many false prophets shall rise and shall receive many, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not, for there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall shew great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Matthew 24:4, 5, 11 through 13, 23, and 24, also found in Mark 13:5, 6, 21, and 22. The mission of the prophets. Number 4, the gift of revealing the future is generally attributed to the prophets, so that the words prophecy and prediction have become synonyms. In the evangelical sense, the word prophet has much wider significance. This name is given to all those sent by God with a mission to instruct mankind and to reveal both that which is hidden and the mysteries of spiritual life. Therefore, a person may be a prophet without making any predictions. This was the idea as understood by the Jews at the time of Jesus. And this is why when they took him before the high priest Caiaphas, the scribes and wise men who were there spat upon him and hit him with their fists, saying, Christ, prophesy to us and tell us who hit you. Nevertheless, it has happened that there have been prophets who could see into the future, be it through intuition or providential revelations so they could transmit these warnings to mankind. Due to the fact of these predictions having been fulfilled, the gift of predicting the future was considered to be one of the attributes of being a prophet. The prodigies of the false prophet. 5. The false Christs and prophets will raise themselves up and will do great prodigies and things which will astound to the point of seducing even the chosen ones. These words give us the true meaning of the term prodigy. In theological interpretation, prodigies and miracles are exceptional phenomena outside the law of nature. These being the exclusive work of God, beyond all doubt, he can annul them if he so pleases. Nevertheless, simple good sense tells us that it is not possible that he has given those who are perverse and inferior power equal to his own, nor even less the right to unto that which he himself has done. Jesus could never have sanctioned such a principle. If, however, according to the sense attributed to these words, the spirit of evil has the power to perform prodigies such as these, and then even those who were chosen would be deceived, then the result would be by being able to do what God does. Then prodigies and miracles would not be the exclusive privilege of God's messengers. This then would prove nothing, because there would be no means of distinguishing the miracles of the saints from those of the devil. Therefore, it is necessary that we look for a more rational meaning to these words. To the ignorant masses, all phenomena whose cause is unknown become supernatural, marvelous, and miraculous. Once the cause is found, it is recognized that the phenomena, however extraordinary it appears, is nothing more than the application of one of the laws of nature. In this manner, the circle of supernatural facts becomes restricted as scientific knowledge widens. At all times, men and women have exploited certain knowledge they possess for the sake of ambition, self-interest, and their desire to dominate, so as to gain the prestige of possessing supposedly superhuman powers, or to lay claim to divine missions. These are the false Christs and false prophets. The diffusion of knowledge in these matters annihilates their credibility and will result in diminished numbers in proportion to the rate at which man enlightens himself. The simple fact of being able to perform what some like to call prodigies does not in any way constitute a sign of a divine mission. Saying that these phenomena may result from acquired knowledge, which is within the reach of anyone, or from special organic faculties, which either those who are worthy or ignoble are able to possess. True prophets are recognized by their serious character and total morality.
Any questions or comments so far? Everybody understanding? I think we can, let me see how much. Yeah, we can continue until the beginning of Spirit's teaching, the lessons from Spirit, and then we can comment this whole.
Okay. Do not believe all the spirits. 6. Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of God, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. 1 John 4:1. Far from sanctioning the false Christ and false prophets, as some people take pleasure in saying, spiritual phenomena comes, on the contrary, to deal them a death blow. Do not ask Spiritism for prodigies or miracles, since it positively declares it does not perform them. In the same manner that physics, chemistry, astronomy, and geology reveal the laws of the material world, so Spiritism reveals other unknown laws which govern the relationships existing between the physical and spiritual worlds, laws which just as much as those of science are laws of nature. By giving an exclamation for certain types of phenomena, which until now had remained inexplicable, it destroys all that remains of the miraculous. Consequently, those who feel tempted to exploit these phenomena for personal gain by pretending to be messengers from God will not be allowed to abuse the credulity of the general public for long, but will be quickly unmasked. Moreover, as has already been said, these phenomena alone prove nothing. Every mission is proved by its moral effects, and these cannot be produced by everyone. One of the results of the development of the Spiritist science is that through research into the causes of certain of these manifestations, many mysteries are explained. Only those who prefer darkness rather than light have every interest in combating this progress, but truth is like the sun, which dissipates even the most dense clouds. Spiritism also reveals another far more dangerous aspect, false Christs and false prophets, which is to be found not amongst men, but amongst the discarnate. These are the deceiving, hypocritical, prideful, and falsely wise spirits, who on passing from earth into their spiritual wanderings have adopted venerated names as masks under which to hide in order to facilitate the acceptance of the most strange and absurd ideas. Before mediumistic relationships were understood, they acted less conspicuously by means of inspiration and unconscious mediumship, heard or spoken. There are considerable number who in various and above all in recent time have presented themselves as some of the old prophets, Christ, the Virgin Mary, and even God himself. John warns against these spirits by saying, "Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of God, because many false prophets are gone out into the world." Spiritism offers us the means of trying them when it shows us the characteristics by which we may recognize the good spirits, which are always moral, never material. One, it is particularly to the manner by which the good may be distinguished from the bad that these words of Jesus may be applied. It is by the fruits that you know the quality of the tree. A bad tree cannot produce good fruits. Spirits are judged by the quality of their works, just as a tree is judged by its fruits. Instructions from the spirits.
Okay. Sorry, just let's stop here today, and let's comments open for questions and comments before we finish our group today. And then next week we start from instructions from spirit from this chapter. So far, what did you guys understood of what we have read on this chapter?
It's hard to understand. It's so much better when you give that little, like you give a synopsis, and it makes it so much easier to understand.
There's a lot of interesting language, like the language is very an ancient English in that version. And so, okay, so the title of this chapter is there will be false Christs and false prophets. Remember when I mentioned right in the beginning, and I repeat like very often for you guys in our mediumship group, that not all spirits are good. Remember? So people preach out there, there's like, oh, when we are mediums, we just, automatically when people die, they become saints and angels, and all the spirits on the other side are good. Like, this is a really, really, naive and, shallow kind of idea, because amongst ourselves, can we say that everybody is good? No, right? Like we have people of all sorts, and even ourselves, sometimes we make stuff, we make bad decisions, and we make people suffer without wanting. We make mistakes, and we are not perfect ourselves, right? We don't know all the answers. When we like raise our kids, for example, we don't know all the answers. Sometimes we make mistakes, and wanting to do good, we do bad, and because we don't know everything. And it's the same thing when it comes to spirits on the other side. And also, even here, they are talking about the false prophets and false Christs, both relating to here and hereafter. So amongst ourselves, there are those who say they are very good. They do stuff in the name of the God, or name of Jesus, or whatever their religions are, and they do harm for humanity and do harm for those who are around them. One thing is to do harm because without wanting, just because you didn't know any better, and you thought that those things were good, and you're later you figure out, oh, may the things I believed, I was mistaken, and therefore I was wrong, and I want to correct myself. Another thing is to deliberately do harm pretending to be good. And there's a lot of those people out there, right? People that exploit communities through religion. They get rich exploiting, communities, making profit, financial profits by, pretending to be a good religious group, but all they want is to steal money from the poor, or whoever wants to give them money, or to, sometimes they use religion. Sometimes people use religion to gain political power, to distort and to exploit people through power, to get personal or elite group advantages through religious ideas. So there's all sorts of stuff, and even people doing miracles, doing good stuff that it seems to be good, but over time is not, like we see that's not good, because it didn't come from a place of love and from God, right? It came from a place of exploitation or malice, or all sorts of devious kind of intentions. So what they are saying here is that, okay, how we can distinguish them, how we can know who to follow, and what is the good, what's good, what is not, both here and hereafter. What they say, what the enlightened spirits say, is that we need to observe the fruits of their lives, what they really produce. And because a bad tree, this is making an analogy with a tree, right? A bad tree doesn't give good fruits, and a good tree doesn't give bad fruits. So if someone is pretending to be a good tree, but over time you observe that there's a lot of bad fruits coming in, mixed with the apparent good fruits, is because it's a false prophet, it's a false tree, and it's a false, Christ, let's say, like false spirits, or spirits that are either both incarnated and discarnated, who have bad intentions, and they can harm. Their intentions are not good, and therefore we need to stay away from them. So sometimes people can fool a lot of others, a whole community, a whole generation for a while, but after a while, it always comes up. The truth always comes up. There's a lot of scandals that we have seen in history, right? Both in the past and in the present, we of all sorts, like religious leaders, or even people that has that's in power, political power, or even people around us, like friends, or family. So we can observe what are the fruits, what are the real things that come up over time, and also observe the nature of the individual, both incarnated or discarnated, because a good spirit is always respectful, always uplift others, always gentle, is always respectful, and is always straightforward, is never confusing. If there's a spirits that come and give confusing messages, one day they say something, or they say something that doesn't make much sense, or it is because it's not a good spirit. It's a spirit that we cannot trust. It's not an enlightened spirit per se. It can even be a loved one that is not incarnated. We need to keep this in mind, that amongst our loved ones, they are not perfect either. We can love them. We don't need to be away from them necessarily if they, if you love them, but we cannot really listen to, every word they say as if they were God, like as if they know everything. They are still in the process of evolution. So we need to kind of take everything with caution, and observe and put things into their right place, and observe over time, observe the feelings that that contact creates on us, the consequences of those advices, or their presence is creates on us. We need to observe all those details, because all those things are important. And but most of all, it's they are helping us to distinguish between the good and the bad, based on the fruits. So a good spirit, both incarnated or discarnated, they never use force, they never use coercion, they never threat. There's a lot of religious leaders, for example, that really put a lot of threat on people, right? If you don't do that, you're gonna go to hell. If you don't do exactly this way, if you question what I said right now, if you don't obey exactly what I said, you're going to go to hell, and your family is going to be destroyed. Well, they put a lot of fear on people. So this does not come from God, because God is love. The definition of God is love. So if something comes that doesn't bring love and peace and uplifting, is because it doesn't come from God.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It makes to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we can continue next week. We are going to meet again next Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific time to continue to another class. And if everyone that would like to join us, we are welcome. We are going to do our final prayer. For those who are watching us online, if you want to join our group in person through Zoom, you can connect with me through my website or my Facebook page through revenant.world. And on Facebook, it's just Revenant, so you can log in and send me a private message. I can send you the link to join our group, and it's free. There's no charge, so everybody's welcome to participate. So let's do a final prayer. Dear God, the spirits of the light, our spiritual guides, thank you very much for this opportunity to be here together, learning from you, from the gospel according with Spiritism, those precious lessons that spirits came to help us to understand what Jesus really meant and what you really want from us, and precious advices and lessons to help us to evolve and to shorten our suffering as humanity, as spirits that is in evolution. Because the faster we evolve, the less we are going to suffer. And so we thank you for your unconditional love and compassion, for your guidance and your helping us to evolve and to acquire our evolution in a shortest way possible. Help us to be beams of light everywhere we go, helping others as well around us. As we grow, we help others to grow as well with us. Help those who are in disadvantages, those who are suffering. Whatever we can do for people around us, even our family members, our neighbors, whatever we can do to contribute to the humanity, to the growth of humanity, that we can help us, you can help us to use our strength and our wisdom to do so. And now we ask our guides and angels to send us healing. Help us to grow and to evolve, to break the chains that prevent us from growing, and to accomplish our mission here in this incarnation. We share this healing light with our homes. We envision this healing light healing every part of our body and mind, and also healing our homes, our physical homes, our families, our pets, our neighbors, the towns we live in, the states we live in, our countries, going farther and farther all the way to take our whole planet Earth. And as we envision this healing light taking our planet, we share this healing light with those who are sick everywhere in the world, who are suffering and in pain, with those who are homeless, with those who are incarcerated, with those who don't have anyone to pray for them. We share this healing light with those who don't have food to eat or water to drink, with those who are being victims of violence, war, persecution, racism, or discrimination. We share this healing light with those who are in power, our governants and the ones who have political and economic power all over the world, touching their hearts so they work for the common good. Give them wisdom and guidance. We also share this healing light with those who are able to contribute with their science, with their art, everything that can bring humanity to the next level, helping us to evolve not only intellectually but especially morally, healing our hearts and our minds, healing our planet, the nature that we have damaged as humanity, healing our relationship with each other and with nature. We ask that we can make our part and that you can help us to evolve to a point where we can live and coexist with each other, both humans and nature, with perfect peace and harmony. And now we thank you for your presence and your guidance and your healing energy. We ask you to continue with us throughout the week, helping us to be beams of light everywhere we go. Thank you very much. Amen. All right, so thank you very much. I hope you all who are joining us just for the literature group, I hope you can join us again next Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific time. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week. And for those who are continuing with us for the next group, just stay with us. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.